In a small, quiet village nestled between tall mountains and thick forests, there was a story that everyone whispered about, though no one dared to speak it too loudly. It was the story of the mysterious light that appeared on the hill every full moon. The villagers had seen it for years, a soft, glowing light that seemed to float above the hilltop, shining like a star but never moving. Some said it was the spirit of a lost traveler, others believed it was a sign from the gods. No one knew for sure. But one thing was certain: anyone who tried to go up the hill to find out never returned. Among the villagers was a young girl named Emily. She was brave, curious, and loved adventure more than anything. She had heard the story of the light since she was a little girl, and though it frightened her, it also fascinated her. Each month, when the full moon rose, she would climb up to the edge of the village, stand at the foot of the hill, and stare up at the glowing light, wondering what it was. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Emily stood by the hill again, watching the soft glow. But tonight was different. Tonight, there was a strange feeling in the air, like the world was holding its breath. Emily's heart raced with excitement and fear. She decided that this time, she would find out what the light really was. She packed a small bag with a flashlight, some food, and a warm scarf. With her mind set, she began to climb the hill. The moonlight bathed the world in a silvery glow, and the trees cast long, eerie shadows. As she walked higher, the air grew colder, and the silence around her deepened. There was no sound, just the soft crunch of her boots on the dry leaves. As she climbed, Emily felt the weight of the village's stories pressing on her. Every step she took seemed to echo with the warnings of the elders: no one has ever returned. You'll get lost in the dark. It's cursed. But Emily pushed on. She was determined to solve the mystery. As she neared the top of the hill, the light became brighter. It wasn't like any light she had ever seen. It wasn't coming from a lamp or a fire, it seemed to float in the air, as if it had no source at all. Finally, Emily reached the top of the hill. There, in front of her, was the light. It hovered above the ground, casting a soft, golden glow that filled the air with warmth. It seemed to pulse, like it was alive. Emily stepped closer, her heart pounding in her chest. She reached out her hand toward the light, unsure of what would happen. Suddenly, the light flickered, and before she could pull her hand back, a soft voice spoke. "Why have you come?" Emily froze. She looked around, but there was no one there. The voice had come from the light itself. I want to know what you are," Emily said, her voice trembling. "I've heard the stories. The village says you are dangerous, but I don't believe them. I want to know the truth." The light flickered again, and the voice spoke once more, this time with a deeper, calmer tone. "Many have come before you. They seek answers but never understand. I am not a spirit, nor a curse. I am a memory." "A memory?" Emily whispered, stepping closer, her eyes wide. "Yes. I am the memory of those who have been lost to time. The lost travelers, the forgotten souls, the ones who passed through this village long before it was built. I am their light, their final journey." Emily felt a chill run down her spine. "But why does it glow every month? Why are you here?" The light seemed to sway, like it was thinking. Then, the voice spoke again. "I appear on the full moon because the moon is a bridge. It connects the world of the living to the world of the lost. When the moon is full, I can be seen by those who are ready to remember. To find me is not to find danger, but to understand the past. The full moon gives those with a pure heart the chance to hear the stories of the lost." Emily felt both scared and comforted at the same time. Can I speak to them? The lost travelers?" The light flickered again, brighter this time. "If your heart is open, if you are willing to listen, you can. But remember, not all stories are meant to be heard. Some truths are too heavy for those still living." Emily thought about this for a moment. She wasn't sure if she was ready to hear what the lost travelers might say, but she knew that she had to try. "I am ready," she said, her voice steady despite the fear in her chest. The light grew brighter and then slowly began to fade, like a gentle breeze blowing away the fog. For a moment, Emily stood in the silence, unsure of what was happening. Then, the stories began. At first, they were soft whispers, like the rustling of leaves. Slowly, they grew clearer. She heard voices of travelers who had passed through the village long ago. There was the story of a sailor who had been lost at sea, the tale of a painter whose work was never seen by the world, and the story of a mother searching for her lost child. Each voice spoke of dreams unfulfilled, paths never walked, and lives left unfinished. As the voices continued, Emily felt tears in her eyes. She realized that the light wasn't just a guide, it was a way for the past to speak to the present. The village wasn't just built on land, it was built on the memories of those who had come before, their stories woven into the very earth. When the last voice faded away, the light dimmed, and everything became quiet again. Emily stood there for a long time, her heart heavy with the weight of what she had heard. Finally, she turned and began to walk back down the hill, her mind full of the stories of the lost. The village seemed different now, quieter, somehow, as if it, too, had heard the whispers of the past. And from that night on, every full moon, Emily would climb the hill and listen to the light. She never spoke of what she heard to anyone, for she knew that some stories were too important to share. They were memories that needed to be remembered, not forgotten. The light would always be there, waiting for the next person brave enough to listen. And in its glow, the stories of the past would never be lost, never forgotten.